Elizabeth II, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom, Canada, and her other realms and territories, Queen, Head of the Commonwealth, Defender of the Faith. Proclamation. To our faithful, the members elected to serve in the Legislative Assembly of our province of Alberta, and to each and every one of you, greeting. Whereas it is deemed expedient for certain causes and considerations to convene the Legislative Assembly of our province of Alberta for the first session of the 22nd Legislature, we do will that you and each of you and all others in this behalf interested, on Thursday, the 1st day of June, AD 1989, at the hour of 3 o'clock in the afternoon, at our city of Edmonton, personally be and appear for the dispatch of business to treat, act, do, and conclude upon those things which, in the legislature of our province of Alberta, by the common council of our said province, may, by the favor of God, be ordained. Herein fail not. In testimony whereof, we have caused these our letters to be made patent, and the great seal of our province of Alberta to be hereunto affixed. Witness, the Honourable W. Helen Hunley, Lieutenant Governor of our province of Alberta, in our city of Edmonton, in our province of Alberta, this 25th day of May, in the year of our Lord, 1989, and in the 38th year of our reign. By command, Ken Rostad, Provincial Secretary. Please be seated.
Yes, the clerk has asked the members to sit and be seated, and the next thing the Premier will be accompanied by the clerk and the Sergeant-at-Arms, and they'll be going out to have Her Honour the Lieutenant Governor come into the Assembly. It's always really quite an exciting time for the opening of the legislature, especially in the first session, because you have many new members who are coming into the House for the first time, so there's always a great spirit of excitement. The pomp and ceremony is part of our British parliamentary system and a tradition, and any member who's ever served in the Assembly or in the House of Commons or in the House of Commons in London always shares this excitement at the opening of the first session. I'll never forget my first time as a rookie member. Your palms really do sweat, and it's something that you never forget. The trumpeters that we're looking at now were part of a gift given at the anniversary of the legislature, one of the important anniversaries, and they formed part of our new tradition. The red carpet is out at the top of your screen, and the Lieutenant Governor and her attendants will be coming through that opening momentarily. They're just coming into view now.
Please be seated.
Honourable members, I am commanded by Her Honor, the Honorable, the Lieutenant Governor, to inform you that she does not see fit to declare the causes of the summoning of the present legislature of this province until a Speaker of this Assembly shall have been chosen according to law. She therefore is pleased to retire from this Assembly, to return at a subsequent hour today to declare the causes of the calling of this legislature. Order!
It's a very interesting
Please be seated.
Tradition, and the reason I'm sort of chuckling is that the Speaker of the early parliaments, if the king of the day was displeased with the Parliament, he would cut off the Speaker's head, so that the Speaker, when he comes in, will sort of be traditionally dragged in by the Premier and the Leader of the Opposition. It's an old British tradition, and it's sort of one that people can't understand unless they know what the tradition is all about. And so now they've gone out to bring the new Speaker into the Assembly, and he will be sort of dragged in. I explained to youngsters in school that the Speaker sort of is like the umpire. He has to... the members of the Assembly speak through the Speaker, and he has to sort of keep both sides of the House in order, and that way the term referee is sort of a good one that young people can understand and lay people can understand. He controls the House. You speak through him, and he keeps decorum and order in the Assembly. The Speaker has really a very difficult job because he has to be very conversant with the rules of the Assembly. We have many parliamentarians who know the rules very, very well, and the Speaker has to know them just that much better. And you have to be able to cite...
Honorable members, nominations are invited for the office of Speaker of this Assembly.
Mr. Clerk, I'm pleased to nominate the Honorable David Carter, member for Calgary-Egmont, to be Speaker of this Assembly.
Yes, the Premier is just nominated.
Speaker, Mr. Clerk, I guess it is, not Mr. Speaker yet. Where is he? I am pleased to support the nomination of the Honourable Member from Calgary-Egmont.
That was really an interesting...
Are there any other nominations?
It's an interesting aside because
In
even
the
the Leader of
absence
the
of other
Opposition gets a little
nominations,
flustered.
I declare the Honourable Member for Calgary-Egmont, David Carter, elected Speaker of the Legislative Assembly of Alberta for this 22nd legislature.
Speaker is now going out, now that he's been duly elected by the Premier and the Leader of the Opposition, will now be going out to be robed in his robing room. So he'll be coming out with the traditional black gown and the typical Speaker's three-cornered hat. An interesting fact is when you're in a member of the legislature, and if you're on the opposition side trying to give the government a bad time, the time you try and do it is when the deputy speaker's in the chair, because they're usually not quite as up with the rules as the speaker is. And the one night that we had an all-night filibuster, we picked on the poor deputy speaker. Dr. David Carter has a degree of Doctor of Divinity, so he's very tactful, and he does an excellent job in the Assembly. Of course, when you're at the Assembly, you always think that he favors the other side, but that's just part of the way the system works. Another interesting note is that the Assembly cannot go into session until a speaker is in the chair. We cannot pass laws. We cannot do any business of the House without the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker or the Assistant Deputy Speaker being in the chair. No business can be transacted without the Speaker.
Let us pray. The prayer we use on this day is the prayer as used for Parliament at Westminster since 1659. We, thine unworthy servants, here gathered together in thy name, do humbly beseech thee to send down thy heavenly wisdom from above, to direct and guide us in all our considerations. Amen. Please be seated. First, I thank all members of the House for my election as Speaker. I also thank you for allowing me to keep my head on my shoulders, and I will try to keep it there through most question periods. The role of Speaker is indeed challenging, and I pledge myself anew to carry out its responsibilities to the best of my ability. I'd like to thank my constituents in Calgary-Egmont for their confidence in me as their member of the Legislative Assembly. Calgary-Egmont, indeed, has a very special place in my life and in my heart. To my family, my special friends, and in particular the residents at Grandview Auxiliary Hospital, thank you for your gifts of love, understanding, patience, and your ability to keep me in touch with reality. On behalf of the Assembly and all Albertans, I say thank you to the member for Lethbridge West and the former member for Calgary-McKnight for their time as Deputy Speaker and Deputy Chairman of committees, respectively. I look forward to working with the member for Drumheller as he takes on his duties of Deputy Speaker, and the member for Ponoka-Rimby as he takes on his duties of Deputy Chairman of committees. At this time, I'd like to extend my personal thanks to the table officers and staff of the Speaker's office and the staff of the Legislative Assembly for their continued support, because I am fully aware of the fact that I am entirely reliant upon them and their many talents. As your Speaker, I welcome all members to the 22nd Legislature. 21 of 83 members are new to the Assembly. Each one of us represents all of our constituents, no matter what their political stripe, cultural, or linguistic background, whether or not they voted for us or chose not to exercise their right to vote at all. Each one of us is a politician, but now in the Assembly, we are also challenged to function as parliamentarians. This will allow the development of many new skills. There will be ample opportunity for questions, for debate, for consensus, friendships, and even laughter. And in the opinion of the chair, sometimes there will be almost too much time for questions and for answers. Canada is a magnificent tapestry of geography and people. Alberta is also a magnificent tapestry of geography and people. You and I have been elected to serve not only our constituents, but all the people of this great province. All too many people are understandably very critical and mistrusting of the political process and politicians. So each one of us must be even more willing to listen to the harsh realities and to truly act in the best interests of all Albertans. Honorable members, you have pledged yourself in that service, and so in turn, I pledge myself to the service of the Assembly and to the people of this province of Alberta. Thank you.
It's an interesting tradition. While we're waiting for the Premier and the Lieutenant Governor to come in the Westminster House, which is the House of Commons in London, all the members do not have a seat. There are over 600 members in the House of Commons in Westminster, and so it's sort of a first come, first serve. The Leader of the Opposition and the Prime Minister, of course, has seats, and the cabinet ministers do, and some of their shadows across the floor. But in the Canadian parliaments and the legislatures, all members have seats. And it came as quite a shock to me the first time I saw the House in Westminster, because I wondered, when I saw only about 300 seats and benches they have where all the members would sit. But it's just one of the variations. They just can't have that many seats in the House of Commons, and also with so many members serving the United Kingdom, they can never possibly be there at one time. If there is a vote called on a very, very crucial issue, probably 95 to 99% of the members would be there. Then they sort of have to stand beside the seats. I found that to be quite an interesting variation from our assemblies. The Premier will be coming in with the Lieutenant Governor, and she will be outlining the government's programs in what we call the speech from the throne. She's making her way in now.
Please be seated.
May it please Your Honor, the Legislative Assembly have elected me as their Speaker, though I am but little able to fulfill the important duties thus assigned to me. If in the performance of those duties I should at any time fall into error, I pray that the fault may be imputed to me and not the Assembly, whose servant I am, and who, through me, the better to enable them to discharge their duties to their Queen and province, hereby claim all their endowed rights and privileges, especially that they may have freedom of speech in their debates, access to your person at all seasonable times, and that their proceedings may receive from you the most favorable consideration.
Mr. Speaker, I am commanded by Her Honor, the Honorable the Lieutenant Governor, to declare to you that she freely confides in the duty and attachment of this Assembly to Her Majesty's person and government, and not doubting that the proceedings will be conducted with wisdom, temperance, and prudence, she grants and upon all occasions will recognize and allow the Assembly's constitutional privileges. I am commanded also to assure you that the Assembly shall have ready access to Her Honor upon all suitable occasions, and that all proceedings, as well as your words and actions, will constantly receive from her the most favorable construction.
Mr. Speaker and members of the Legislative Assembly, I have the honor to welcome you to the first session of the 22nd Legislature of the Province of Alberta. During this important session, my government will reaffirm the legislative and budgetary policies for the priorities and programs outlined at the opening of the fourth session of the 21st Legislature on February the 17th, 1989, and so strongly endorsed by Albertans. My government has been entrusted with a leadership role for all Albertans, and the effective management of our province is a challenge that is accepted with enthusiasm and pride. Alberta's economy recovered strongly in 1988, with over 40,000 new jobs created to mark the highest employment level in our province's history. In addition, 12,000 more jobs have been created in the first 3 months of 1989. While wages and salaries rose, Albertans enjoyed the second lowest consumer price increases in Canada in 1988, and increases have been moderate in 1989. However, the high interest rate policy emanating from Ottawa has caused concerns for the prospect of Alberta's continued recovery in 1989. Recognizing the adverse consequences such a policy has on Albertans, my government moved quickly to introduce a major interest-shielding program to help Albertans with their home mortgages, to assist renters and families to purchase their dreamed-of first home, to ensure the continued growth of our small businesses, and to strengthen the viability of Alberta's family farms and ranches. The remaining months of the fiscal year 1989 to 90 will be more difficult than first anticipated. But with my government's continued priority of fiscal responsibility and prudent management of our renewable and non-renewable resources, Alberta's economy will continue to grow in full partnership with Albertans from every walk of life. Agriculture strengthened through 1988, and new expansion and record growth in our important tourism and advanced technology sectors have been exciting factors in the diversification plans of my government. The most remarkable growth, however, occurred in the forestry industry, with 11 major developments totaling more than $3.5 billion committed to Alberta. While economic development within our province is essential to create and sustain employment, it is vital that our clean environment be protected. Our ability to discuss and consolidate the views of all sectors will be strengthened by my government's establishment of a multi-sectoral environment roundtable. Those involved will work to meet the challenge of building consensus and developing proposals to coordinate and integrate environmental and economic decisions. My government is firmly convinced that social and economic development are inseparable. Since this beautiful province was formed in 1905, Albertans have shared with those in need of special care or other forms of assistance, a trust that will continue. The values that were inherent in the building of our province by our forefathers, love of family, home, community, and province, have, as was so aptly put by a former member of this legislature, made Alberta the sparkling jewel in the necklace of Confederation. These values will be strengthened by new measures stressing the importance of Alberta families. Diversification, a blueprint for success. Through the concerted efforts of my government during the last few years, the pulse of Alberta's economy has moved from irregular to strong. New industries have become solidly entrenched in our everyday business life, creating new jobs and security for Albertans all across our province. A dramatic and historic breakthrough has been made in the promotion of a more diverse economy. New confidence and investments flow across Alberta. Our economy now grows from a stronger, healthier base because of my government's leadership. Economic growth builds from new agriculture, food processing, conventional energy, oil sands and heavy oil production and upgrading, oil and natural gas pipeline expansion, petrochemicals, magnesium production, forestry, tourism, advanced technology and research, and manufacturing activities. The Government of Canada has committed $1.8 billion for Western regional development over the next 5 years. The Canada-Alberta Economic and Regional Development Agreement provides for joint planning and programming. My ministers will work with the Government of Canada to ensure initiatives are targeted to Alberta's needs. Forestry, an important renewable resource, Alberta's forests provide a tremendous potential for diversification. And in just 3 short years, investments totaling $3.5 billion have been realized, which will generate over 12,000 jobs. Many of our smaller centers in Alberta will receive the benefits of this investment in timber harvesting and lumber processing. But beyond that, suppliers of office goods, truckers, engineers, welders, equipment, catering, and manufacturing supplies will also benefit. In addition, the construction industry will be required for the new buildings, roads, railways, and utilities necessary for forestry development. Research to develop new products and processes and faster growing and healthier trees will continue. Prompt reforestation of harvested areas is mandatory, and my government is seeking out the most effective way to increase our tree nursery capacity, which produced enough seedlings last year to replant 30,000 acres. A new wildlife conservation strategy for Alberta includes a comprehensive anti-poaching campaign, a significant increase in the number of fish and wildlife officers, various habitat-related programs, and the development of a provincial fisheries management program. Tourism. The goal is worldwide recognition. Tourism is Alberta's 3rd largest and most rapidly growing industry. Valued at $2.5 billion annually at the present time, my government has set a goal of building a $10 billion tourist industry, recognized for its excellence around the world by the year 2000. My government will seek this growth in partnership with communities, the private sector, and tourism zones throughout the province. Significant support will be provided for tourism foundations at the community level, regional and provincial tourism generators, infrastructure and transportation access, quality tourism and hospitality services, and aggressive marketing. Regional tourism attractions attract hundreds of thousands of tourists annually. My government plans to develop more of these high-caliber projects and is currently investigating the potential of new projects in our magnificent north. Family vacation destination resorts are among the most promising projects being considered, and my government will be working with the private sector to build them near major attractions, thus encouraging visitors to stay longer in our province. Alberta's vibrant arts community is important to Albertans and visitors. Our artists and the organizations and volunteers that sustain them, whether in the visual arts, performing arts, film or literary arts, are a vital asset to our province. In recognition of the value of the arts and culture to all Albertans, from preschoolers to family groups to seniors, my government will continue to meet its long-standing commitment to support the arts in Alberta. A recently announced program for a lottery-based initiative will protect and support the professional performing arts organizations in the province. A recent cooperative research program, the Dinosaur Project, China, Canada, Alberta X Terra, has begun to develop the world's largest traveling exhibition of dinosaurs. This exhibition will start in 1991 and be seen in 14 cities around the world by over 12 million people. Alberta is a major partner in this project and will receive unprecedented international attention for our dinosaur attractions for tourism, as well as build our scientific liaison internationally. Advanced technologies, a key to our future. The 21st century is little more than a decade away. As we approach this landmark in human development, many challenges must be met and opportunities must be seized. My government believes that the development and application of advanced technologies will provide an important key to Alberta's future prosperity. Advanced technologies have the potential to keep our traditional resource-based industries competitive and strong, to create new industries and jobs, to provide new career opportunities for our youth, to solve many of the environmental, health, and safety problems facing the world, and to improve our quality of life through modern conveniences. Last year, my government's support for research and development activities in Alberta exceeded $240 million, an amount greater than that provided by any other province. These funds contributed to valuable research in many fields, from the petroleum industry to agriculture, computers and microelectronics to lasers, medical and pharmaceutical products to agriculture biotechnologies, to name only a few. My government will continue to support and encourage the growth of this important sector, not only through research and development, but by stimulating the commercialization of new technologies developed in Alberta. My government's goal is to ensure that Alberta remains a technological leader in the 21st century. Petrochemical industry, a major achievement. My government remains strongly committed to the development of the petrochemical industry in Alberta. Over $6 billion have been invested in petrochemical and related facilities to date, with more than 6,000 Albertans employed in the industry. These plants have located in a number of communities throughout Alberta, contributing significantly to local business activity and enhancing employment opportunities. Major new investments are planned for Alberta, totaling over $1.5 billion. The growth of the petrochemical industry in Alberta represents a major success of my government's policy of diversifying and broadening the economic base of the province. New investment activity in the downstream plastics processing industry will see over 25 new projects or expansions planned for 1989. Agriculture, long-term outlook good. Agriculture remains the #1 economic priority of my government and the foundation of our province. 2 new federal provincial farm financial management programs have been announced. The Alberta government will contribute to the funding of a 3-year farm financial management training program and a farm financial advisory service. We will protect our farmers from high interest rates through 2 different initiatives. Farm families will have access to a small business interest shielding program for operating capital. In addition, the government has extended the Alberta Farm Credit Stability Program for an additional 2 years and revised the program to increase the maximum loan limit per family farm unit to $250,000. The interest rate on these loans stays at 9% over a 20-year period. We continue our commitment to reduce farm input costs. Both the Farm Fertilizer Protection Plan and the Farm Fuel Distribution Allowance will be continued. A further reduction of 5 cents per litre in price of farm diesel fuel has been introduced under the Farm Fuel Distribution Allowance. As a result, farmers will now receive an allowance of 14 cents per litre on diesel fuel. Farmers will continue to receive a 9 cents per litre allowance on gasoline under the program and will, in addition, remain exempt from Alberta's fuel tax. My government has created a farm employment fund to help create hundreds of jobs on the farm, providing employment for workers and an extra hand for farmers during busy times. My government remains deeply committed to maintaining the well-being of rural Alberta. Energy, gaining strength. My government has been successful in maintaining an attractive climate for investment in the conventional oil and gas industry. After the price decline in 1986, my government assisted the industry to adjust to the new international price environment. In 1988, exploration and development activity was at the 4th highest level in Alberta's history. However, in early 1989, high interest rates and uncertainty over oil prices have made it more difficult for the oil and gas industry to raise new equity to invest in conventional exploration and development. My government will continue to work with industry to ensure that the investment climate continues to remain attractive. It will assist the industry in promoting Alberta oil and gas prospects and raising new equity for investment in Alberta. My government recognizes the importance of developing Alberta's energy resources in an environmentally responsible manner. The Alberta Energy Resources Conservation Board has a well-deserved reputation for its technical expertise and its careful consideration of the environmental and conservation impacts of resource development. Through the Energy and Resources Conservation Board, my government is working to ensure that Albertans are aware of proposed developments at an early stage and have the opportunity to participate in the planning, evaluation, and authorization of energy development projects. My government also ensures that energy development is in the Alberta public interest, responsible to local concerns, and in compliance with strict environmental standards. The Alberta Oil Sands Technology and Research Authority supports a wide variety of research into new technologies to reduce even further the environmental impact of resource development. Through the Alberta Oil Sands Technology and Research Authority, my government has supported development of new technologies for treating water for recycling in steam generation and injection. Another initiative, the underground test facility, offers the prospect of drilling wells from shafts and tunnels underneath the oil sands, minimizing surface disturbance. Research into new oil sands, extraction and upgrading, and other technologies reflects my government's commitment to developing Alberta's resources in harmony with our environment. My government continues to finance research into advanced coal technology to help ensure that coal remains an environmentally sound and economically competitive source of energy. Business outlook remains buoyant. During 1988, Alberta's economic base was strengthened, with manufacturing shipments and merchandise exports up more than 10%, and over 14,000 new businesses incorporated. In the first 3 months of 1989, there was 3,618 new incorporations. The Alberta government will continue to support small business investment in the province. My government has announced 2 new programs intended to provide a measure of relief to Alberta businesses which are being adversely affected by the high interest rate policy of the Bank of Canada. The Small Business Interest Shielding Program will cover the interest rate difference between 14% and the rate charged by a financial institution to a maximum of 5 percentage points on loans of $100,000 or less to eligible businesses or farms. The Alberta Capital Loan Guarantee Program will enhance small business access to credit by providing partial guarantees to lenders who make loans to eligible businesses. These loans are to be used for new investment, not refinancing, and the guarantee can be for up to 5 years, depending on the purpose of the loan and the security provided. My government remains committed to fairness in the marketplace and will take further initiatives to ensure fair dealing in the financial markets in Alberta. Measures will be taken to increase investor protection with respect to illegal insider trading. Rules governing takeover bids will be simplified and made more uniform relative to the other provinces, while at the same time increasing protection to Alberta shareholders. Legislation will be placed before this Assembly to improve the regulations of credit unions and trust and loan companies. In March of this year, my government joined with the other Western provinces in signing an agreement to improve access by all businesses in the region to each government's tendering process for goods and services and construction contracts. My government will continue to work towards achieving a national procurement agreement to reduce or remove barriers that inhibit interprovincial trade. In January, the Canada-US Free Trade Agreement was finally implemented. Albertans are now well on their way to securing the benefits of free trade with our most important international trading partner. My government will work to ensure that the implementation of the agreement is in the best interests of Albertans, especially as it concerns the important negotiations on trade rules and discipline concerning the use of government subsidies. We will do so in a fashion that respects and preserves the constitutional responsibility of the Alberta legislature. My government will continue to work closely with the federal government to pursue Alberta's objective in the Uruguay round of the GATT multilateral trade negotiations. In particular, the success of GATT's agricultural negotiations is of great importance to Alberta's farm families. For this reason, we will urge Canada to play a lead role in the move to liberalize world agricultural trade. We will continue to pursue full provincial participation in trade negotiations as agreed to by the First Ministers at their conference in Halifax in 1985 and as implemented for the free trade negotiations. This is vital if we wish to ensure Alberta's interests are addressed and its objectives achieved in both bilateral and multilateral negotiations. Many smaller communities in Alberta have the desire to develop and implement strategies to build on and enhance local business growth. My government will provide financial assistance on a cost-shared basis to small communities through a new program to help them with their local development projects. My government's labour market initiatives, along with the strong performance of Alberta's private sector, continue to make an impressive impact on employment growth. The seasonally adjusted unemployment rate fell from an average of 8.1% in the first quarter of 1988 to an average of 7.4% in the first quarter of 1989. Significant investments in the forestry, oil, and petrochemical sectors will continue to generate jobs and further reduce the unemployment rate, but will also pose new challenges for my government. It is anticipated that as a result of investments in these sectors, the province will experience a strong demand for workers in several skilled occupations, especially the trades. In order to help meet the skill requirements of industry, my government has introduced the Apprenticeship Work Experience Program, which will train apprentices in trades where demand is expected to be high. In addition, a campaign to heighten the public's awareness of the value and need for apprenticeship training will be launched. It is expected that this program will encourage many individuals to pursue the trades as a career, thus significantly increasing the supply of skilled labor. Worker safety and compensation. Expanded initiatives are planned for occupational health and safety this year. Establishment of Alberta Occupational Health and Safety as an independent ministry will raise the profile and priority of this crucial area. Fostering a safe and healthy workplace and the prevention of work-related injuries and ill health remain the primary objectives of Alberta Occupational Health and Safety. These objectives will be enhanced by two significant initiatives undertaken earlier this year, upon which the organization will build. The recently introduced Workplace Hazardous Materials Information System and the Banff Roundtable discussions with leaders from industry, labor, and government will provide solid foundations upon which to build partnerships and promote occupational health and safety. The task force on the Alberta Workers' Compensation Board submitted its report in November 1988. It included a number of major recommendations designed to improve the service to injured workers, make operations more effective, and, in cooperation with occupational health and safety, reduce workplace injuries. In November 1988, the Workers' Compensation Amendment Act 1988 was proclaimed. The Act provided for an appeals commission separate from the Workers' Compensation Board, a board of directors responsible for policy matters, and the management of the Workers' Compensation Board operations under the direction of a president and chief executive officer. The task force recommendations received widespread support, and the Workers' Compensation Board is proceeding to implement them. Strong Alberta families, the heart of our society. My government has no doubt that through the family, society renews itself. A renewal nurtured by the love, care, and support of all family members, including children, adolescents, adults, and seniors. My government is committed to assuring that families remain strong and that those in crisis receive the support of a caring society. Substance abuse is a continuing dreadful threat to family life and our young people. As outlined on February 17, 1989, my government will propose legislation to establish the Alberta Family Life and Drug Abuse Foundation and will seek the views of Albertans in addressing the issues of prevention, research, and treatment of drug and other addictions. Other initiatives relating to families will see expanded in-home support services, new initiatives to combat the devastating effects of family violence, and additional support to our network of family shelters, additional resources for the Maintenance Enforcement Program, increased levels of daycare subsidies for lower-income families, and improved training requirements for all staff employed in daycare centers. Planning continues for the Lieutenant Governor's Conference on Alberta Families. Education, a high priority. Albertans are mindful of the strong foundation that a quality education creates for our children's future success. This is especially so as we consider that the children entering grade school this year will be the first high school graduates of the 21st century. Exciting new educational initiatives are being developed. Distance learning for 130 rural schools, enhanced equity funding for school boards, additional support for schools with inner special needs in Edmonton and Calgary, and increased funding for community schools. In post-secondary education, opportunities will be expanded in several key areas. Business education will have more student spaces at the universities in Edmonton, Calgary, and Lethbridge. Significant changes will occur in nursing education. University transfer programs will be expanded at our colleges, and more funding will be available for rural-based voluntary associations. A substantial capital development program for our post-secondary system will be presented to this Assembly for approval. Financial assistance to students across Alberta has always been a priority of my government. Student living allowances will be increased, and an interest relief program will be implemented for students in need. As we approach 1990, the year of literacy, special events are being planned by Alberta vocational centres to take place throughout that year to create greater public awareness of this problem within our society. Health services for prevention and treatment. Access to high-quality health services for Albertans is a continuing high priority of my government. A new Department of Health Act will be presented to the legislature, which will emphasize the effective delivery of services for both prevention and treatment in all health care facilities, both mental and physical. My government is very concerned about that breast cancer is the single largest cause of death in women aged 40 to 59 years. During this session, plans will be unveiled to initiate a breast screening program for early detection of cancer. A commitment to recognize the need for improved standards and increased access to emergency health services will be presented to the Assembly in an Ambulance Services Act. Home care funding will see a significant increase to enable senior citizens to remain independent in their own homes. My government believes that families are strengthened when they can choose between services in their homes or in healthcare institutions. Many patients require long-term care, and in a move to offer more effective choices to meet those needs, a capital expansion program will add 1,500 new long-term care beds throughout the province. Significant new funding will provide added equipment and oxygen in nursing homes, as well as increased staff and upgraded programs. Seniors, the foundation of our heritage. A Seniors Medical Alert program recently announced will allow seniors with lower incomes to obtain a grant of up to $700 to purchase approved medical alert systems. In addition, volunteer nonprofit groups will receive startup funds of up to $20,000 to establish or expand medical alert networks. An expanded home adaptation program for seniors and the disabled and a seniors independent living program have also been announced. These new initiatives emphasize the priority my government places on providing the best possible services to our seniors. Alberta, leading in environmental protection. Alberta will continue to exercise its jurisdiction over the environment and is resolutely committed to preserving the quality of Alberta's natural beauty for future generations. Alberta's new pulp mill environment standards take into account the latest technology and are receiving international recognition. My government has sponsored a series of formal and informal meetings to allow individuals and groups to raise questions or concerns about the forestry projects. In addition, an expert review panel on forestry management has been established to review concerns that are raised at those meetings. Alberta is a world leader in the field of hazardous waste disposal, and my government will maintain this leadership position by helping to establish a center of expertise in special waste management, which will assist private entrepreneurs to export Alberta expertise and technology to the world. Meeting special needs. The Premier's Council on the Status of Persons with Disabilities is now fully operational and working with individuals, community agencies, and government departments. This input will be the basis of an improved action plan that will enable the province to assure full and equal participation of disabled citizens in Alberta society. The Committee to Review Services to the Mentally Handicapped has held forums across the province, and as a result of input received from interested citizens and groups, recommendations will be made to improve the range of services available. Our history as a province reveals a strong tradition of support for individual rights and freedoms. In keeping with this tradition, my government will introduce amendments to the Individuals' Rights Protection Act to prohibit discrimination based on mental disability, and which will extend protection against sexual harassment to all employees, including domestic employees and live-in farm workers. In partnership with communities, new multi-year partnership programs with cities, towns, villages, summer villages, and rural municipalities, announced February the 17th, 1989, remain a high priority of my government. The acceleration of the existing program for paving Alberta's nearly 15,000-kilometer secondary highway system was announced during the recent election and will include the paving of the remaining 8,300 kilometers of highway by the year 2000. These secondary highways provide essential access for the families and businesses in many communities and are a critical link in our province's transportation network. As a result of these highways being paved in a shorter period of time, there will be economic benefits such as enhanced tourism and employment opportunities and reduced maintenance costs, as well as increased safety. Response to needs of municipalities. In 1986, my government announced a comprehensive public review of the entire system of municipal government in Alberta that would lead to legislation appropriate to carry Alberta municipalities through the last decade of this century and into the 21st century. The Phase 1 report of the Municipal Statutes Review Committee has been received. My government will be responding in the near future, and the committee will be proceeding to prepare legislation in consultation with Albertans. Historic legislation will be introduced to enable the incorporation of Alberta towns in national parks. This uniquely Albertan arrangement will bring local decision-making to the residents of Banff for local government matters and is being developed through the cooperation of the Government of Canada and the Banff School Board with my government. The province recognizes the importance of the property tax as the mainstay of local government finance and the need to ensure that the incidence of the tax is fair and equitable for all taxpayers. Action will be taken to encourage all municipalities to maintain their assessments on a current basis so that taxpayers can make more knowledgeable judgments as to the fairness of the assessments on their property. Housing for Albertans. My government's commitment to assisting Albertans to obtain affordable housing is reflected in some of the lowest housing costs in Canada. The recent elimination of loan ceilings for the mobile home loan insurance program has enabled many more families and individuals to purchase their own homes. Continued social housing initiatives will ensure that lower-income families and individuals have access to subsidized rental accommodation. To respond to the housing needs of our aging population, 4 new senior citizens lodges will be undertaken in 1989, in addition to 230 senior self-contained apartment units. These initiatives will complement a $5 million commitment to the regeneration of older lodges to ensure these facilities continue to fulfill the housing needs of our seniors. New initiatives to demonstrate our government's continuing commitment to Alberta's families in the area of home ownership and to senior citizens housing include the Alberta Mortgage Interest Shielding Program, with over 250,000 homeowners expected to benefit from this 2-year program. Homeowners who are obtaining a new mortgage for the purchase of a home, renewing their mortgage, or have a current mortgage interest rate above 12% will be assisted up to a ceiling of 17%. The Alberta Family First Home Program, with over 36,000 Albertans expected to benefit from this 2-year program. The Alberta Family First Home Program assists first-time home buyers. And a garden suite project, which will see a total of 6 garden suite demonstration units being developed for senior citizens in Alberta. Working with Native people. My government's commitment to Alberta's Native people is illustrated by historic leadership shown in negotiations with various Indian bands in an effort to settle outstanding treaty land entitlements. As well, legislation will be introduced to accommodate the transfer and entrenchment in the Canadian Constitution of the ownership of land to our Metis settlements. Senate reform. A truly effective Senate requires the support and confidence of Canadians from all parts of the country. Alberta will continue to provide leadership in promoting the benefits of a Triple E Senate. In keeping with its commitment to an elected Senate, my government intends to reintroduce the Senatorial Selection Act. When the Senatorial Selection Act was introduced in February, it was widely acclaimed as an innovative and progressive step toward comprehensive reform of the Senate. Members of the Assembly will be asked to give their approval to this historic legislation, which will, for the first time, enable Albertans to select nominees for the Senate through popular election. Members of the Legislative Assembly, in due course, you will be presented with the budget estimates. You will be asked to authorize the necessary funds for operating services and expenditures, and to endorse a program of capital financing for the government of Alberta. You represent a beautiful province of strength, hope, and promise. I leave you now to the business of the session with full confidence that, as elected representatives, your debates and your votes will reflect your responsibilities to all Albertans. I pray for your wisdom and your strength. God bless Alberta. God save the Queen.
Please be seated.
I think some of our viewers may be really quite interested to know what the Leader of the Opposition and the Leader of the Liberal Party have been doing while the speech was read by Her Honor the Lieutenant Governor. It's a time of furious jottings because they will have to go out after the Assembly rises to face the news media, and they've never seen this throne speech before this time, so they have to be able to summarize it and make some intelligent comments as to what they think the government's programs will be, if they are deficient in any areas. So it's really an interesting thing to know what these two men are doing at this time. In the years that when the opposition was very, very few in number, 4 of us or 6 of us, it was a time where we really had to do our homework. You can only guess to a certain point as to what will be in the throne speech, and then you have to sort of wing it. You have to be able to digest it while the Lieutenant Governor is reading it, and then try and make some intelligent comments. I thought that you might be interested in knowing that that's what was going on at that time when you saw Mr. Decor and Mr. Martin feverishly jotting notes down on the paper in front of them. At this time, the control of the House has been in the hands of the Lieutenant Governor, and just in a few moments, when the Premier gets back, then the House will take control of its own agenda, and it can't do this until the first bill is going to be given first reading, and that will be done in a few moments by the Premier.
Order, please.
Mr. Speaker, I beg leave to introduce a bill, Bill number 1, the Alberta Family Day Act. Mr. Speaker, this bill provides for the third Monday in February each year, being a new holiday, the Alberta Family Day.
The Honourable the Premier has moved first reading of Bill number 1, Family Day Act. All those in favour of the motion for first reading, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Motion is carried.
Bill number 1, being the Family Day Act, introduced by the Honourable Mr. Getty, is now read a first time.
Honourable members, I have the honour to table a copy of the speech graciously given by Her Honour the Lieutenant Governor.
Mr. Speaker, I have received from the Chief Electoral Officer of Alberta, pursuant to the Election Act, a report containing results of the general election conducted on the 20th day of March 1989, which states that an election was conducted in the following electoral divisions, and the said report further shows that the following members were duly elected: Athabasca-Lac-La-Biche, Mike Cardinal; Banff Cochrane, Brian Evans; Barhead, Ken Kowalski; Bonnyville, Ernie Isley; Bow Valley, Tom N. Musgrove; Calgary Bow, Bonnie Lang; Calgary Buffalo, Sheldon Schumer; Calgary Curry, Dennis Anderson; Calgary Egmont, David Carter; Calgary Elbow, Ralph Klein; Calgary Fish Creek, Bill Payne; Calgary Foothills, Pat Black; Calgary Forest Lawn, Barry Pashak; Calgary Glenmore, Diane Myrosh; Calgary McCall, Stan Nelson; Calgary McKnight, Yolande Gagnon; Calgary Milliken, Gordon Shrake; Calgary Montrose, Rick Orman; Calgary Mountain View, Bob Hawksworth; Calgary North Hill, Fred Stewart; Calgary Northwest, Frank Brusiker; Calgary Shaw, Jim Dinning; Calgary West, Elaine McCoy; Camrose, Ken Rostad; Cardston, Jack Adey; Chinook, Shirley McClellan; Clover Bar, Kurt Gazelle; Cypress Redcliffe, Alan Highland; Drayton Valley, Tom Thurber; Drumheller, Stan Schumacher; Dunvegan, Glenn Clegg. Edmonton Avonmore, Marie Lang. Edmonton Belmont, Tom Sigurdsson. Edmonton Beverly, Ed W. Owasia. Edmonton Calder, Christy Melsness. Edmonton Center, William Roberts. Edmonton Glengarry, Lawrence Decor. Edmonton Glenora, Nancy Bitkowski. Edmonton Goldbar, Betty Hughes. Edmonton Highlands, Pam Barrett. Edmonton Jasper Place, John McInnes. Edmonton Kingsway, Alex McEachern. Edmonton Meadowlark, Grant Mitchell. Edmonton Mill Woods, Jerry Gibault. Edmonton Norwood, Ray Martin. Edmonton Park Allen, Doug Main. Edmonton Strathcona, Gordon Wright. Edmonton Whitemud, Percy Wickman. Fort McMurray, Norman Weiss. Grand Prairie, Bob Elliott. Highwood, Don Tanis. Innisfail, Gary Severtson. Lacombe, Ron Moore. Lesser Slave Lake, Pearl M. Callahassan. Lethbridge East, Dick Johnston. Lethbridge West, John Gogo. Little Bow, Raymond A. Speaker. Lloydminster, Doug Cherry. McLeod, Leroy Fjordbach. Medicine Hat, Jim Horsman. Old Stidsbury, Roy Brassard. Peace River, Al Boomer Adair. Pincher Creek, Crow's Nest, Fred Bradley. Panoka Rimby, Halver C. Johnson. Red Deer North, Stockwell Day. Red Deer South, John Oldring. Redwater Andrew, Steve Zaruski. Rocky Mountain House, Ty Lund. Sherwood Park, Peter Elzinga. Smoky River, Walter Paskowski. St. Albert, Dick Fowler. St. Paul, John Drobot. Stettler, Ryan C. Downey. Stony Plain, Stan Woloshin. Tabor Warner, Bob Vogel. Three Hills, Connie Osterman. Vegreville, Derek Fox. Vermilion Viking, Steve West. Wainwright, Robert Butch Fisher. Westlock Sturgeon, Nick Taylor. West Yellowhead, Jerry Doyle. Wetaskiwin Leduc, Don Sparrow. Whitecourt, Peter Trinchy. Mr. Speaker, I have also received from the Chief Electoral Officer of Alberta, pursuant to the Election Act, a report containing results of the by-election conducted on the 9th day of May, 1989, which states that a by-election was conducted in the electoral division of Stettler, and the said report further shows that the following member was duly elected: Don R. Getty.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the speech of Her Honor, the Honourable the Lieutenant Governor to this Assembly, be taken into consideration tomorrow.
Having heard the motion by the Honourable Premier, all those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. So ordered. Mr. Speaker, I move that pursuant to Standing Order 55, Stan Schumacher, member for Drumheller, be elected as Deputy Speaker and Chairman of Committees. All those in favour of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Carried. Mr. Speaker, I move that pursuant to Standing Order 55, Halver Johnson, member for Panoka Rimby, be elected as Deputy Chairman of Committees. Those in favor of the motion as given by the Government House Leader, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Motion is carried.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the votes and proceedings of this Assembly be printed after first having been perused by Mr. Speaker, and that he do appoint the printing thereof, and that no person but such as he shall appoint do presume to print the same.
Having heard the motion by the Honourable Minister for Public Works, Supply and Services, all those in favour of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. So ordered.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the select standing committees for the present session of the Legislative Assembly be appointed for the following purposes. Number 1, privileges and elections standing orders and printing. Number 2, public accounts. Number 3, private bills. Number 4, laws and regulations. Number 5, public affairs. Number 6, the Alberta Heritage Savings Trust Fund Act. And number 7, legislative offices. In addition to thereto, there be appointed for the duration of the present legislature a special select standing committee on members' services.
Having heard the motion by the Honourable Minister for Health, those members in favour of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Carried.
Mr. Speaker, I move that a special committee be appointed, consisting of 7 members hereinafter named, the said committee to prepare and report, with all convenient speed, lists of members to act on the select standing committees ordered by this Assembly. Mr. Day to serve as chairman, Mr. Clegg, Mr. Musgrove, Mr. Cherry, Mr. Highland, Mr. Fox, and Mrs. Hughes.
Having heard the motion by the Honourable Minister of Education, those members in favour of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Carried.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Assembly stand adjourned until tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Having heard the motion by the Honourable Government House Leader, do you all agree? Opposed? The Assembly stands adjourned until tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
The Speaker leaving the House now that the Assembly is formally dissolved, and tomorrow when they go back into session at 10 a.m. One of the government members will be starting the debate on the throne, and one of the other government members will be seconding it, and then the leader of the official opposition adjourns, and he has the first call to make the first speech on the budget or on the throne debate Monday morning or Monday afternoon.